Wonderfros, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ev, and today I'm going to be doing a story time get ready with me, okay? And this is a story that I haven't really shared outside of my closest friends and family because it was so hurtful at the time that I was just like, yeah, no, I don't want to have to relive this emotional trauma. But I realized that I draw inspiration and get motivated from other people's struggles when they share their stories. So I just thought I would share this. I don't know, I just felt some spiritual inclination to do so. And because, you know, it doesn't affect me as much as it did back in the day, but we're gonna get into it today. So if you are a guy, I always feel some type of way whenever I do my get ready with me's because I feel like, you know, this content isn't necessarily geared towards them, but story times are for everybody. So I will have all the links down below in the description box if you are interested in what I am using, but this is mostly about the story, aka the discussion, which my get ready with me's usually are. So if you like this type of content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want some more down below so you don't miss any more videos from me. And we just gonna jump right into it. So today I'm gonna be talking about how my professor basically said that because I had a disability, I didn't belong in college, and how he just flat out wasn't gonna help me. So it was my first semester, freshman year, of one of the major classes that I had in my major. I was a biology major. And at my school, the process for students with disabilities, you have to go to the disabilities department. You have to get these accommodation letters, and that basically lists what you would need in order to be accommodated so that you could pretty much just be brought up to standard. Whatever your disability is, it would just outline, hey, like, informing the teachers it's a situation and these are the things that she would need. And you have to get accommodation letters every single semester for each class, for each professor, and just present it to them, kind of like inform them what's going on, and then have them sign these accommodation letters so that you can take it back to the disability department and they can pretty much just file it and approve that, hey, this child will be accommodated, not child, but you know, the student will be accommodated properly and they can matriculate through here because, you know, they're supposed to be inclusive and everything. Girl, that entire process every single semester was very tedious, and to be honest, the disabilities department, I just did not feel like was doing their job up to par. And every semester, whenever I would go, sometimes my disability letters would have the wrong accommodations. Sometimes they would have the wrong name at the top. Sometimes they were just like poorly typed out. It's like, you didn't even spell check this. Like, I don't know what system you're running this through, but it's got all types of errors, you know? And let me slide this back so I don't have that line, you know, when you put on your foundation. And then anyway, it was just a mess. Like, a lot of times I would have to go back and forth to the disability department just to get the right accommodation letters, which was extremely tedious and then and annoying and just unprofessional. And then presenting these disability letters, these accommodation letters, to your professor. A lot of times I would try to catch them at office hours, but they weren't at office hours, so you have to do it either before or after class. You have to come early or stay later, and if you have classes back to back, it just ended up being a process that was very, very strenuous on a person that already, you know, it's like, I have a lot to do already. Please don't make this any more complicated than it has to be. So it is my first semester, freshman year, and I was sitting in one of my major classes, and the professor puts up a quiz. It took me a long time to get the accommodation letters written out properly to begin with, so that was trash. But at this point, it was like 3 weeks, I think, into the semester, and am I running out of this? I might be. I might need some more. And the professor had put up a quiz on a projector, and you know, because I have a visual disability, there was no way I could see that. Even if I sat in the front of the class, as big as it was just too far away. There was too much distance, and there's no way I was going to be able to see the projector. So I didn't take the quiz. They had passed out the little Scantron sheets, and I didn't take the quiz. And I walked up to him after class, finally, with the proper disability letters, and presented them to him and was like, hey, you know, I need to take this quiz. I need to have this like printed out so that I can see it. And even still, I would have to hold it like really, really close to my face, but I could see that. I could take a quiz that way. And pretty much I had to go up to him after class. It was already a line of people waiting to talk to him. And when it finally came up to me, I was like, you know, Professor so-and-so, I need to take the quiz. I didn't take the quiz because I couldn't see it pretty much. And it took me so long to get the accommodation letters that it had progressed deep enough into the semester for there to be a first quiz. And I pretty much told him that. And hey, like, can you sign these disability papers so that you can accommodate me and so that this situation doesn't happen again? And pretty much he didn't like cuss me out, but like the attitude and tone that he had was like, I'm not signing those letters. And I'm not making this up. This is verbatim. The attitude that he had was like, I'm not signing those letters. You're not getting my signature on anything. You need to go, this is what he said verbatim, word for word. You need to go to a place where they handle people like you, because it's not here, and I'm not signing those letters, and I'm not doing these accommodations. You need to go to a place where they serve people like that, or where they teach people like that. I love this foundation. I'm actually really sad that I'm running out. He just was like, I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna sign these papers. I don't know where you got to go to get help, but it ain't here. And mind you, this is one of my major classes. If I don't pass this class, then I don't graduate. And if I don't get accommodated in this way, I would either have to like change my major, switch schools, do something. And so for me, like, for those of you that don't know, if you're new here, because I got some new subbies lately, girl, guy, hey, how are you? My name is Ebony, and I do have a visual disability. It's called Stargardt's disease. I will link some videos above if you would like some more information, but basically my central vision is missing. And so, it's an odd situation. So, and I got diagnosed at 15, so it's been like a hot minute. I've been living with this now. So when he pretty much was like, I'm not gonna accommodate you, the first thing was like, one, this is illegal, but also two, like, I was so hurt. It was like, how can you not help me? Like, I'm coming to you, I'm, you know, presenting myself in like a regular way. I wasn't like irrational, I wasn't loud, I wasn't hood, there was no like, you know, tone in my voice. It was just like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I need from you, like, can you help me, kind of a thing. And he was just so anti help, like was not going to help me, was not going to sign the papers, was not about that life, and pretty much told me I didn't belong in college because I have a disability. I was so upset, I was so hurt. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, that was the first time I had run into anyone that would not help me and was just so adamant about not helping me. You know what I mean? Usually if you tell people, hey, this is the situation, they're like, oh, it's fine, don't worry, you know, cool. But not him. And the first thing, it was like, I don't know why you're not helping me, but two, I don't know how I'm gonna pass this class, and three, I don't know how I'm gonna get through college, period, because he was one of the first professors I had gone to. I had gotten the letters for other people, but he was one of the first ones, and he just had such an attitude problem. I didn't understand it, and at the time I think I absorbed it completely, as in it was me, but looking back, it definitely was not me. It was, I mean, he had a complex, it was an issue within himself, and it was just lots of problems I figured out later going forward. But I was upset. I went back to my dorm room and cried, and my roommate was there, and she was like, it's okay, don't worry, we're gonna figure this out, you know. Mind you, this is like 3 weeks into first semester freshman year, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna pass this class, I don't know how I'm gonna pass college, period. Like, where do I go? I had gone back to the disabilities department. I think I had called my parents first. I had called my mom, and she was like, don't make me come down there, you know, like, she was really upset. I had gone back to the disabilities department, and they were like, no, he has to sign these letters, he has to do this and that and this and that, but nobody in the department was willing to follow up or do anything extra in order to make sure that the protocol they had in place actually was being followed. So it was still me trying to catch up with this professor at his office hours or catch him after class, and a couple times after that he just still refused to help me, was not going to sign the papers, was not going to help me. So I ended up going to, who did I go to? The head of the department at the school, and I told him my story, because basically what this professor was doing is illegal. Like, it is illegal to not accommodate students and to not accommodate, you know, even employees or anything like that. Like, it's law. You can't do that. You can't discriminate against somebody for that reason. And pretty much the professor was like, that's not in my job description. He just had a chip on his shoulder. And so I had gone to the head of the department, and come to find out, girl, they ended up being frat brothers from back in the day. So when I went to him and was like, hey, this professor is discriminating against me, and his behavior against my accommodation letters and helping me as a student with a disability is illegal, he ended up not doing anything about it either. Like, it got swept under the rug. Nothing happened. No one did anything. I'm waiting. I'm going back. I'm checking with the head of the department. I'm checking with the disabilities department to see if anything was happening, and nothing was happening. And mind you, all the while, this is like 5 or 6 weeks into the semester now, I had missed 2 quizzes, and I was pretty much failing the class because I couldn't see, and because this professor wouldn't accommodate me or sign my papers. And my friends are the realest, you know. They was like trying to help me pretty much cheat because I couldn't see the projector. I couldn't see that far. And we would get these little Scantron sheets, and they would like try and help me see what the question was, or like whisper it, because it was like an auditorium class. So it, you know, TAs and stuff were going around checking, but you could still kind of get away with a little something. So one of the quizzes, like, I'm gonna just be honest, like, I cheated on, because I'm like, I don't know, no one's helping me. It's deep into the semester. I can't see. I can't see that far, and I'm not gonna fail this class because this professor has a chip on his shoulder. If I had tried to switch out of the class, it would have affected my entire schedule. Like, there's no way. I would just have to drop the class and then start over the next semester, and it would have bumped everything back from graduation. So it wasn't an option to just go get a different teacher or just not have to do this one class. It's like, no, I need this class, and I need it at this time. I can't just do it later, or I can't just drop it because it's gonna come back, and I can't schedule wise swing it, or else I would have been there like an extra semester or had to pay for a summer session or something. So like I said, my friends are the realest, okay, ride or dies. They was there with me and trying to help me pretty much like cheat on these quizzes. But in my mind, it wasn't cheating, it was surviving, because I don't know how else I'm gonna pass this class. Eventually, things got escalated to the Dean of Student Affairs because my professor wasn't responding to the disability department and wasn't responding to me. And this is like 6 weeks into the semester, and again, cheating on quizzes, couldn't see the projector, still same old situation. And I ended up having to go to the A building to find out what could be done, because at this point it was just so far gone. I just didn't know what else to do. And again, his behavior is pretty much like lawsuit level, like illegal. So I got to the Dean of Student Affairs. I had explained to him everything that had happened over these few weeks, and pretty much how he had been acting towards me, how he had treated me, and all the steps that I had taken to try and circumvent the problem. So he sat there, wrote down everything that I needed, wrote down all of the stuff that the professor was supposed to do, and I guess they presented it to him in some kind of way, like some other kind of way. I don't know. But he still, at the end of the semester, did not sign any papers. He said, oh, they came to an agreement. Whoever, like the Dean of Student Affairs, the A building, and this professor, they came to an agreement, whatever that means. And so he started giving me copies, like printed out copies of the quiz, so that I could read it and see it and actually fill out the Scantrons and, you know, take the quizzes like everyone else was taking the quizzes. My thing was, what I asked you to do was not difficult. I could understand, honestly, if it was a disability that was way more demanding and way more, like, it required so much more accommodation. There are places where you can get educated and that do cater to people with disabilities, with visual disabilities, because it is just a different environment that they would thrive in. And so for me, it's like, okay, I am this like this like crazy middle ground where I'm not like disabled enough to receive a lot of help and I'm not able enough to help myself at the same time. So I kind of end up falling through the cracks because I am considered high functioning for the disability I have. And so it just, for me, it did not seem like what he had to do was, oh, such a big deal. It wasn't such a big deal. But for him, I ended up finding out some other stuff, administrative stuff later after I graduated even, that it was like, oh, that's why you're like this, you know, that's why you had a chip on your shoulder. But I found out it had a lot less to do with me. Eventually, I did not have to take his classes anymore, and I didn't have to you know, see him again until graduation. Now, this professor, you also are assigned advisors that are professors, and they're supposed to help you matriculate through the school and stuff, but advisors didn't do shit. Like, they did not help you whatsoever. And pretty much you're on your own. Like, you really are on your own. And I think at the time it was a really tough pill to swallow, me having to grow up in that way. But I'm thankful for the experience because I learned that not everyone is going to help you. And even with your disability, while 98% of people are really, really sweet and kind and accommodating and just, you know, they understand, there are people in the world that genuinely will not help you. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a reflection of you. It's just the dynamic of what's going on that you might not even understand. So don't always try and absorb the problem. Don't do that. It might not be you at all, girl, which is what I found out later. It was several lessons that I ended up learning that semester. Is that one, not everybody is there to help you. You know, you play with the cards that you've been dealt, and while some of them may be unfortunate, it's not always someone else's responsibility. Mind you, it's never anyone else's responsibility for how things come out. It's yours, and you have to take like proper initiative with whatever you've been dealt. And I think that was one of the first grow up moments for me, maturity moments, where it's like, not everybody's out here to help you. Two, that there are issues and problems beyond your control that you aren't supposed to absorb. You know, a lot of what was going on with him had nothing to do with me. I don't know all the details. I will never know all the details, but it had nothing to do with me, you know? And the last lesson is that the tables do turn, okay? They do. I ended up having to see him again at graduation because you get assigned advisors. Advisors have to sign off on the fact that I guess you had taken all the proper credits in order to receive the degree, and then you have to go to the education center and they have to sign off on it too, or like approve it or whatever. It's like a whole process of getting approved and making sure that like you actually graduated with all the credits that you needed. And I had to see him again because he was my assigned advisor. After freshman year, I did not have to take any classes with him. He was difficult both semesters, and it was just like an agreement, an understanding. That's what he just kept referring to it as. But he still did not sign my accommodation letters first or second semester of my freshman year. But he did have to sign off on the fact that I had completed all of my credits and that I had passed all the classes for that major. I had gone back up to his office and pretty much was like, hey, you know, like you have to sign off on these letters. Like you have to do this. Like you have to. And when I showed up, he was kind of like, oh, Miss Hawkins. And I'm like, hey, it's me. You know, the girl that you told didn't belong here. The girl that you said needed to find somewhere where they accommodate people like you with disabilities. The girl you made life a living hell for the first like 3 to 6 weeks of freshman year, but still made it anyway, like in spite of you. I am here for you to sign off on my graduation papers because I still made it. You know, I still made it. And that lesson is that one, tables turn, okay? Two, don't let anything deter you. And that 3, sometimes your enemies can be more of a motivating factor than your friends. I mean, my friends were there for me, mind you. They still are. Same girl group, okay? Same girl group. A1 day ones. But I think it was the fact that I had graduated anyway and proved him wrong. And he was looking like surprised to see me, that I was still around, that I was still a biology major, because the switchover rate for bio majors was like 80% or higher. People do not stay biology majors. They switch and do something else. And I stayed. I still made it. And he was looking shocked that I was still there. But your enemies can push you too, you know. I understand that everybody might not have the confidence or even the resources to do what I did. But I also understand that if you really put your mind to something, nothing can stop you. I don't care where they told you to go. I don't care what they told you was or wasn't possible. You know, you are able, not just disabled. And to be one of the hardest majors, and for me to have my visual disability and to still thrive despite who was or wasn't going to help me, was a good learning experience for me much earlier on just in my life. I guess it was one of the first moments I could say it was like, no, Ev, like grow up, like grow up. And it was important for me to have that. I now have that experience as something, you know, in my arsenal to pull from. And I definitely think everybody should have those experiences that you look back on and thank God for, that you not just survived it, but came out on the other side and actually lived to tell the tale, that tables turn, that things change, that you are strong, and that things that hurt you don't necessarily have to stop you. It was an important lesson for me. And I'm glad that it happened. At the time, like I said, I was very hurt. But looking back, it was good for me that I was afflicted. I think at the time, I was still struggling with a lot of self-worth. And also dealing with the fact that I had been diagnosed with this condition and that there was no cure, no answer. It's like a chronic thing. It's just here now. It's just this dead thing that's like this dead component to your lifestyle that you're like tethered to. And it has made me stronger, you know, it has made me stronger. But still accepting the fact that you have to carry this cross now is hard as a kid. Because like I said, I got diagnosed at 15. Just because you have a disability does not mean the rest of life stops or changes or revolves around this one thing that went wrong. I mean, a lot of it does. And it affects me, but you can't let it take you. Like, you can't let it consume you. You know, like I have it. It doesn't have me. And I guess I just wanted to share this story with you today to show and to prove that I have this thing. Like, I have it. If it had me, I probably would have dropped out of college. But I cried about it. I went and tried to get help. I eventually, you know, passed his class with flying colors and made him sign off on my graduation, because that's where I belonged. That's what I believe I deserved. And that's what I wasn't going to let him stop me from. It was very satisfying to see his surprised face, like, oh, you're still here. Like, yeah, nigga, I'm still here. Like, that's how I felt. Let me finish the rest of my face. Oh yeah, this is the final look. Highlighter popping. Loving the glitter. Loving this glitter. Have been on, off. We don't leave her on. We're not doing nothing today. It was just this video. So yeah, that is basically it. I just wanted to share this story with you guys because it's something I haven't told anyone like outside of my closest friends and the people who were there when it was happening, and my family, like they know about it, but it's been years obviously since my freshman year of college. And I hope that this I guess just inspires some of you guys to keep going, because it doesn't matter. It does not matter what went wrong. There's a lot of things that are still in your control as far as staying motivated and getting what you believe you deserve. It was hurtful back then, but it made me stronger now. You know, there will be people that won't help you. There will be situations that come up that are out of your control, but there still are things within your control, and you gotta just push forward. And yeah, what don't kill you, okay, will make you stronger. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Remember to let your spirit, soul, and hair stay lifted like an Afro puff, and subscribe down below to my world so you don't miss any more videos from me. And if you do, then I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.